Welcome to another episode of Middle East Brokers, a podcast by brokers for brokers. It's a podcast that addresses real-world affairs that real estate brokers, real estate agents, or real estate consultants deal with on the daily in their profession in the GCC region or the Middle East in general. The podcast welcomes the full spectrum of industry experts and stakeholders for their insights, tips, and views on the current state of affairs of the real estate industry in the Middle East. Thanks again for tuning in and listening. We are really excited to welcome back Rakan. Rakan, thanks for making the time and joining us today. Really happy to have you on board.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited about doing this episode.
Absolutely. And you know, we talked about this before we hit record. I mean, you really represent the cohort, the group of people, our listeners that are either thinking about starting a career in real estate or have just embarked on this journey. And you have recently sort of gotten on this journey. So what I was really hoping to do today was to unpack that a little bit and explore your experience and how your journey is going so far. So for those of you that hadn't tuned into any other earlier episodes, you know, we did talk to you, and we learned that you are a career professional. You've spent a bulk of your career in the corporate world. If you can maybe comment a little bit more on that.
Well, yeah, just the fact that I'm coming from the corporate world, it really supports me into facilitating that process, and the fact that I'm dealing with a very professional brokerage office, that helps a lot. And as well, just the fact that you are embarking into a real estate industry that is well built and a very good infrastructure for it, very well regulated. That helps a lot. And Dubai is really exciting. Every day you see a new project being launched. And right now, I'm in the know of many launches. I already follow a lot of people in the industry, and I see what's going on in the market more closely than I used to before. And it's becoming familiar for me, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the journey.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I definitely want to unpack that a little bit more and break that down. So just to step back a little bit, so you spent your career in the corporate world. You still are sort of in that role. However, you decided that this is the transition that you wanted to take. You know, this direction that you're taking now.
It's the right time, I believe. Now that I'm a little bit settled in the corporate world, and I know how to make some time for me to pursue this as a second profession for the time being, until I know how to maybe in the future leave the corporate world and attempt this in full time.
Right. So, you know, that's amazing. That's so interesting because there's so many like you, and I've talked to a lot of agents. I talk to a lot of brokers, and I've talked to a lot of people that are thinking about entering into this field, and they're in that similar situation where they're comfortable in their corporate, or that they feel like they need to sort of level up their career or make a transition because they want to realign to what really they feel passionate about, and where the opportunity is. And this is certainly one of those things, but it is a part-time endeavor until you feel like you can do so. Now, there's two schools of thought here, right? There's some people that will say you can't do this part-time, and some will say, do it part-time until you feel like you can really make that full-time transition. Because here's the thing, and you can tell us the balance that's required between your business, your real estate business, which is what you are embarking on to build, and your sort of day job or corporate. There's a lot required for you to balance on both ends. So, but let's again step back a little bit. you decided that you were going to go through this, and you then are in the Dubai market. What was your experience? Like, what did you do first? You decided that you wanted to be a professional, a real estate professional. You decided this is the career that you wanted to give a shot and enter. And it's not just a career. This is, as an entrepreneur, you are building your business, and this is what you decided. What did you do first?
Well, let me talk a little bit about what should be the ideal situation, because there isn't an ideal uh, uh, scenario for everyone. Everyone has his own special challenges that they need to embark on, and I think I am fortunate enough that I'm settled in my career, so I can pursue this as a part-time initially until I
Right,
find that point of full transitioning. However, if somebody wants to pursue it from the get-go, maybe that's what they need to do to get into it. But because I'm blessed enough to have the capability to do that transition as a part-time, that's why I'm pursuing it. And I started by uh, first actually getting in touch with what I consider to be a mentor, and let that kind of guidance get activated, and know more about the industry and how it's going, and get those I would say emotional securities in place, and get that assurance that I can actually pursue this,
right,
and know that there is somebody that would help me throughout the journey, and let me know what are the next steps, or what do I need to accomplish next to pursue this. And
that's
uh,
amazing.
being an acquaintance and a friend to Abdullah Abdul Qadir, as I said before in the previous podcasts, helped me a lot. And knowing you as well helped me a lot. And that's why I pursued to get in touch with EXP Realty and fill in the form and the application. And they had to make sure that I know about the EXP Realty model, and I understand uh, the requirements that there are to pursue it. And um,
Right.
that's how I started off.
Yeah.
And and
So
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Alhamdulillah, I did file all the requirements. I'm also a resident of the UAE. I have a residency in the UAE, and that helped a lot. And now I've already signed the contract, and I'm looking into taking the RERA exam, which will qualify me to be a real estate broker. I have the material needed to pass the exam. I just need now to give it some time, and get the exam out of the way, and get my
Perfect.
license, and start in actual listing, and advertising, and
Yeah.
support
The activities that
Abdullah Abdul Qadir
right.
into making those transactions.
Yeah. And so that's amazing. So what you just did here is you summarized in a nutshell the process, right? And what I want to do in this episode is exactly that, is to consider that process and then sort of take it step by step, right? So you mentioned EXP Realty. You did your due diligence in the market, right? And you decided that EXP Realty was the right brokerage for you. And for those who are listening or watching, and don't know about EXP Realty, if you can just in very briefly tell us, why did you pick EXP Realty versus any other brokerage in Dubai?
EXP Realty have already changed the way that the brokerage industry is functioning, and they've done what we call a paradigm shift into dealing with the brokerage industry and the real estate industry, and they do provide all what a broker needs to get started and to continue on retaining this function as a real estate broker. So they do help you into knowing the ins and outs of the industry. They do have a university that you can virtually log in to and get all the material you need and all the support you can get into pursuing this. And the
So just to
main
preface
reason
that,
yeah.
sorry, yeah, go ahead. Just to preface this though, that eXp Realty is a cloud brokerage, right? It's very different from a bricks and mortar brokerage, that a traditional brokerage, if you will. It is a cloud brokerage. However, you said you were saying the main reason,
which allows me to be anywhere and
that's right.
and pursue this. Just by having the residency, it made it possible that I can actually register with eXp Realty on the cloud and be able to be an employee with that brokerage firm. If I pursued any other firm, I have to be physically there, and I have to be on the payroll, let's say, and do the 9 to 5. However, being on a cloud made me more free to be anywhere in the world and still be an eXp Realty broker. And
Right. From a
yeah,
financial perspective, were there any influencers?
from the financial perspective, especially, I know all the real estate brokers in Dubai mostly have a 50-50 share on the commission that they're getting. However, eXp Realty have an 80-20, and you don't need
You
to do
keep
a 9
80,
to 5.
they take only 20.
Yes,
And you don't need to do what?
I don't need to do a 9 to 5
Right. You can be
kind
anywhere
of,
in the world. And
yeah.
just to add to that, right, it's right now a brokerage, a cloud brokerage that gives you a better compensation package than any other traditional brokerage in the market currently. Period. There's no exceptions to this. This is really the best financial model that exists, not only because of the commission split, where you keep 80% of what you make, but also because of the opportunities for you to earn multiple streams of revenue, for you to actually effectively become 100% commission agent, because that 80-20 split actually has a cap. So if you are a top producer, if you're doing what you would be doing at any other brokerage anyway, you would ultimately get to a point with the number of transactions that you have done where you start keeping 100% of the commission. So eXp will only take so much from you.
And there is also the revenue share, the fact that you can end up having as well shares in the same company. That also on the long term will guarantee your let's say end of service, or continue the service never ends, I guess,
It's a
with the
retirement
experience.
package.
It's a
It's it's
retirement package.
it's the first of its kind in the history of real estate professions, where a realtor, a real estate broker can effectively have their retirement plan just for doing what they would have been doing traditionally anyway. So
So
stock ownership,
no.
becoming an owner in the company is a huge benefit.
Absolutely. And knowing what's happening on the internet world and all those industries that are transitioning into becoming a cloud-based and offering a different alternative to the users, it's a no-brainer for me to pick up eXp Realty, and it fits my situation for the time being.
Perfect. So you selected eXp, and then okay, you decided that you were going to join this brokerage. What was that process? What did you need to do?
I needed to first show that I have the residency. I needed to show that I have an educational background, a bachelor degree, and represent my papers. That's it. That's it. And fill up the contract. And I had to choose a sponsor for me on the network.
It's an online
And
application.
yes, through the online application, and that's how I got the material for the RERA exam and the labor card from the UAE. and it
So
allowed me
EX,
to actually be able to submit to the RERA exam.
right. So joining EXP gives you the sponsorship. They make you an employee. That you are a resident. However, they give you the visa for those that are Iqama holders, for example, are looking for the sponsorship. They give you the visa, they give you the sponsorship, and then you basically are, once you have that contract in place, your next step is to take the RERA exam. And for that, they provide you the support, the material, and all of the sort of the coursework that is required for you to effectively pass the exam. Is that right?
That's true. That's true. And I realized from the material that it's very friendly and exciting, because I realized from the material how the regulatory bodies are really looking into providing the best service possible to the end user, which is whoever is buying and whoever is selling. And they really hold high standards for the brokers and their offices. So they have to work on it, and they regulate it very well, and they make sure that we work with the highest standards available. So it gives me a lot of as well sense of security that this is you have only one way to do it, which is the right way.
Right, right. So, talking about the material, you get the material, and you've gone through the application, it gets approved. By the way, how long did that application process take? Was it just days, or did it take weeks?
Well, for me, it took around 3 weeks.
Okay, so you give yourself about a month to do that transition, and then the material. Now you've received the material. Now this is where for those that are listening in that are thinking of doing this part-time and not full-time. When you're doing full-time, the answer is pretty easy. How do you balance your personal lifetime requirements to the study time requirements, or to the profession, if you will, right? So that's an easy answer. But for those that have a personal life, that have a sort of a career life already on the go, and then they're looking to transition into this profession and build that foundations for a long-standing sustainable real estate business, how do you balance that out when you receive the material? Can you walk us through what went through your head? What was your sort of process to balance the time requirements?
From the get-go, if I didn't know that I had some free time for me to pursue this, I might have withdrawn from the idea. But I knew that I had the time, and the fact that the industry is really interesting, and to know more about it and to experience it firsthand and to read the material that is there, it only gets me more excited to pursue more. When I
What I hear
go
you
to
saying is that you're making the time. What I hear you saying that you made the time because this is what you want to do.
exactly, I go and sit with my cousins or my friends in the coffee shop, or even take my kids out, and I have a free time while they're playing, or while my brother was doing a meeting on his laptop. I always had my phone and material, and I go through it, and it brings up good stories and good subjects to discuss with them as well. Did you know that Dubai had this? Did you know that Dubai had that? And this is how they make sure that the broker works with the highest standards. This is how they make sure that nobody does anything fishy, or that might end up not beneficial for either any of the stakeholders. And that's how it's regulated. And it amazes me the level of regulation compared to the traditional way of doing things. And uh, from where I'm coming, whoever pursues to be a real estate broker, it's usually a guy who's already retired and is thinking of trying to do something beneficial. So they go and open up a real estate office, and it's easy for them to do. And then they try on doing communications and so on. It's a different kind of model, the traditional one, than this one. And that's where also the interesting subjects come up when I'm having to sit in a gathering or something, and um, and also it keeps me excited on knowing what's being launched and what's being availed in the market, and I keep a record of all of these launches and all of these listings personally, and I came into the habit of making a master sheet for me to know what's being available in the market and comparing. Usually it's not I don't do it right away. It came with time that I start to understand the different prices and the value of those listings,
Right. So that's amazing. So
the
you're
value that we bring.
right. So you're doing the studying, but at the same time, your market analysis is an ongoing exercise. You're keeping your finger on the pulse. You know what's coming up, so that when you get your license, you're hitting the ground running, and you're going in with a well-established understanding of the market and of the different options. But now going back, just to put some numbers around this, would you say you're spending, about an hour a day, a couple of hours a day, or 5 to 10, or 5 to 10 is a big range, but let's say 5 hours a week? Like how are you doing that in terms of splitting your time to dedicate to the studying?
It's not the studying only that's taking the time. It's the studying and to keep knowledge about the market, and it's I'd say in the average of an hour to 2 hours a day
Okay.
that it takes from me, and especially on the weekends I have plenty of time, and that's when I give it like 3 hours a day.
Sort of focused, dedicated
Yes,
attention. So, with the amount of material that's in front of you that you need to go through, and then your commitment to about an hour a day, let's say, how long do you think the timeline that you need to give yourself in order for you to feel like you're ready, you're prepared, and you can go in and actually give the exam?
um, from my assessment right now, I think it's going to take a month or 3 weeks.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's say 3 to 5 weeks, depending on your personal life. You give yourselves about a month, and then that should be sufficient, in your opinion, to go through all
Yes.
of the material.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you leveraging any other sort of third-party sources of course material or knowledge? Like, are there any other things that you're doing besides the material that you've received from EXP Dubai?
Currently, no, I am not. But um, the guidance that I'm getting from my mentor have recommended that I actually do pursue certain specialized institutes that do have these courses available. And I'm thinking after I go through the material, I might go into those institutes and register just to make sure that I've got it all right.
Okay, excellent. Well, this is really interesting and really exciting. I can't wait to learn more about your journey and how you sort of go through it. And then, of course, we're all going to be rooting for you to get that exam and become a licensed professional, and join us out there in the fields as we go and make people's lives better. Now, as far as sort of the future planning, right? Like, so you've got your market analysis activities that you're doing. You've got your Excel sheet or whatever tool that you're using to make a list of projects. Are you reaching out to existing realtors or brokers in the market and having conversations with them as well?
Yes, I am, and I do that frequently, as frequent as possible. And I'm also following up with uh, not say following up, I'm following through social media, all those very well established real estate brokers. I'm seeing what they're offering. I'm listening to the information that they're providing. And I'm even doing these podcasts with you and Abdullah. I'm making sure that I'm getting all the information available as soon as they come out. As you know, a lot of development is happening, even in the regulatory section. So I really need to know what's happening to make sure that I hit the ground running.
Right. Amazing. And when talking to these folks, what are some of sort of the learnings that you're thinking? Are there any ideas that you are gathering in your mind in terms of what you need to do first? And hint, hint, you're in the social media world. You recognize the importance of leveraging social media and leveraging and building your personal brand.
Yes, I've already started building I've already booked the user that I want to represent on the social media, and
Okay.
and I'm trying to make sure I have the media that's needed before I post it on there. However, I didn't post anything yet because it's legally not allowed until I do have my RERA license, and that's where the critical path now for my project comes in. Just the fact that I've signed recently with EXP Realty, the next step is just getting that license. And I'm very
Right.
excited about passing that exam so I can start to represent my social brand on social media.
Amazing, amazing. And of course, because you are not only a member of one of the most innovative, if not the most innovative brokerage on the planet today, but you are also a part of one of the fastest growing groups at eXp Realty, the Wolf Pack. And we are so thrilled and excited to have you on board, part of the Wolf Pack. And with that, you are receiving free access with no additional cost to you in any way, no splits, nothing. A completely complementary benefit of an entire academy of building your brand, yourself, your image, leveraging social media and all aspects of social media, the mindset training, the mastermind calls on a weekly basis that you're receiving, and of course, access to some of the top producers in the company around the world that you have the ability to leverage to build your skill sets and of course to level up your business. So really excited to
And
have you on board.
this is only and that's brings me back to why I chose EXP Realty. The fact that this model have made this movement into having someone like the Wolf Pack avail this and make sure that these networks are available to support up and coming real estate brokers or real estate brokers who are already established there can actually get benefit of that. And through EXP Realty and the Wolf Pack, I think I'm on the right path into doing that transition.
You certainly are, my friend, and it's going to be so exciting when you're actually on board, and I think you're going to be amazing. And this is a message out to the world. Watch out when Rakan Ghoth is coming. Reach out to him because he is your man in Dubai, and he will provide you with world-class service and get you to the destination that you're looking for. Whether you are looking personally for yourself to buy or to sell, or whether you're an investor, Rakan will be the go-to person for yourself. Thanks again, Rakan, for your time. And I want to thank our listeners as well for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you. And thank you for giving us a time of your day to listen in on this podcast. If you haven't already done so, please like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon, depending on whatever platform that you're listening in. We would love to have you come back and be notified with new episodes as they come out. We really appreciate your listenership. We appreciate that you're with us and giving us the time of your day. We appreciate you. Thanks again, Rakan, and everybody have yourselves an awesome rest of your day.